Thank you everyone for joining us for this conversation at this point in time. Nigeria is still quite an evolving space, especially as it has to do with our politics and politicking. More so now that 2027 election or round of elections is just ahead of us. We see how politicians have been putting up a great deal of show across party, the ruling party, the opposition, again, particularly with the coalition coming on board now, even though that in itself has a bit of drama that we just all cannot ignore. But our focus for this conversation will be the obedient movement, whose leader, of course, is former governor of Anambra State and the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 election, talking about Peter Obi. What that element, so to speak, in itself means in defining and redefining Nigerian politics and how that will shape ultimately the 2027 general election. And to help us straighten these out and find some science in this direction, we're joined by someone who is heart to heart with Mr. Peter Obi, doubles as the national coordinator of the Obedient Movement, Dr. Yunusa Tanko. It's a delight, Doc, to have you on the program today.
Thank you very much for having me. Good morning, Nigerians.
Great. So maybe we begin from your own evolution. I mean, I'm sure there are viewers at this point who are wondering, how did you do that shift from the National Conscience Party and today you are with the, well, let's not say the Labour Party. I mean, you are with a movement that is radically different from where you're coming from. No,
not really radically different. In fact, it's evolving from the past. Because if you know, the National Conscience Party represents, as led by Gani Fawemi, and Femi Falana, who took over from Gani, and Obayuana, who took over from Gani.
Right.
Then, Femi Falana took over from Obayuana. Then I took over from Femi Falana. And then before we had a challenge of the registration by INEC and all of that. And it's all because of the ideological base. The ideological base is the demanding for good governance. How do we change Nigeria from a money-driven politics to a Nigeria where ideals and merits become the norms in the society? And so between those periods in which we were struggling to ensure that it is the supremacy of the people that reigned high, of course, you couldn't win elections, and which the rules and regulation of INEC was like, okay, you must win elections and so. So the people buying into those particular ideology, and before they were just being being gagged, poverty has been put into a forefront. And so when you dangle 1,000 naira in front of them, it makes a lot of meaning. And we were trained to change the narrative. We won election though in Ekiti State, but the same challenges that particular gentleman faced, because at the State Assembly, what they were doing is that once you are in the opposition, they continue to gag you. You don't get you involved into activities. So you will be forced, if you don't have a straitjacket mind, you will be forced to go with the old order. So like the Obedient Movement is demanding for good governance. Good governance at all levels. And they're not shying away from it. They're demanding for it. It's not a quest. It's a demand. So, and we are ready to champion it. So you see, coming from that particular background gave me more strength into what I'm trying to do, or what we are trying to do in the Obedient Movement. I can tell you, it's full of challenges, quite often, because some people expect you to give them money to do ABC.
Right.
And once you don't provide it, it becomes difficult. Getting their minds to change it to this particular new order that Peter Obi is trying to champion, it's difficult, especially in an opposition country of this nature. Today, Nigeria has been so much impoverished deliberately by those who are in position of power. And so you are now becoming a subservient to those who are in position. But we need to fight it. We need to fight it from our mind. We need to fight it from our soul. We need to fight it together. That is the way we can be able to submerge them. But it's quite difficult.
From this narrative, it's apparent that you were built for this. I mean, it's been a long time coming. But let's talk about money for a second. You talked about how that poverty has been weaponized. At least that's suggestive from what you just talked about a while ago. Right. But again, is it not mere euphoria? Is it not just at best idealistic for you to expect money not to play a very pivotal role in our elections in a country where everything comes down to naira and kobo?
Yeah, money for you to execute the project ahead of you. I want to travel to Lagos, for example. I will need to get money to pay for my flight ticket.
Right.
Okay. Of course, when I get to where I'm going to be, I must have an accommodation. It's either maybe I go and stay with my friend who believe in the same ideology to cut costs, and then maybe his wife and his children will share what they have. You know, that's the ideological way of doing things, which we inherited.
Right.
But you see, in a contemporary day in Nigeria today, you are expected to go to a hotel and pay for your food and all of that. In this situation, a journey from here to Lagos will cost you nothing less than 500,000 naira on a minimum level.
Maybe just a night or two.
And that's a huge money. From where do you get it? You're not in government, okay, where certain amount of money should have been provided for you. Okay, normally if you are running a proportional system of government, you should have had a certain amount of money being given or an allocation being given to you to maintain that particular oppositional position of it. But then that is not the situation here in Nigeria. It is a winner-take-all syndrome. So it becomes a very pivotal point that you have to challenge the status quo. The rush and the quest to be in position of power, not because of the people, but because of personal interest reigns supreme. That has to change. We must change it. Okay, so that is the reason why we in the obedient movement are thinking that, look, we have somebody who has that ideological belief, and that person is Peter Obi. Prudent, self-independent in terms of finance on his own, and he's been championing and financing most of this particular. It may not be up to that level, but at least he is the one doing it independently because he believes that Nigeria should be better than the way it is at the moment now. And so most of the Nigerian youth find favor in his messaging. A clear-cut example, you're talking about a governor who uses security votes for the interest of education, pulling people out of poverty, changing the narrative, making sure there's electricity, making sure that there's enough good roads and all. These are money that some other governors steal at will, unaccounted for. And he's saying, no, that is not supposed to be, because the priority is supposed to be the people first. Change their thinking. Move them out of poverty line. Then they will be more productive, so that we will not change from consumption to production. And Peter Obi's ideology is that, look, when I spend 1 naira, that 1 naira must produce something for the interest of the people. And that's something that we don't have in our system. That's one narrative we need to change. We need to believe that, okay, even if you are borrowing the way we are borrowing unabated for, you're borrowing on a basic, continuous level. That borrowing is not channeled towards production purposes. It's channeled through consumption purposes. And that will not add value to whatever we are doing. And so he is saying that, look, if you must take A, B, C, D, it must be attached to something that will be yielding result for the interest of the Nigerian people. So you see, it's a different ballgame entirely. It's very difficult, hard pill to swallow, but then it can't be done collectively as a people. So the psyche of the people need to know. And that's why many of the Nigerian youth who believe that our democracy has been railroaded by some individuals believe so much in its ideological belief. And that, of course, is the crux of the obedient movement.
We're going to dig into the person of Peter Obi in a minute, but let's talk about this movement. I mean, just immediately after the election in 2023, there were issues back and forth around finance. How that some persons had allegedly taken advantage of the movement. I mean, with all the force it came with, the clout and what have you, to exploit this, if you like, competitive advantage of a movement in such a way that some persons were even accused of using monies meant for driving this same ideology you've been talking about the whole time for personal aggrandizement. We saw other Nigerians in the diaspora who believed so much in this movement also put in their widow's mite, if you like, and things like that. That controversy has dogged the party on the level the whole time. I mean, the last 2 years and counting, for example. How is the obedient movement at the leadership level handling that?
Okay. I took over in September 2022. Just barely a year in an organized obedient movement.
Okay, 2022?
Yes, just 2023. Just last year.
Okay, 2024. So just a year down the line.
2024, yes, 2024. And so just a year down the line. Right from the beginning, I understand there's a huge challenge. Challenge had to do with internal issues as regard to issue of payment of agents and all of that. And then individuals, groups, we have close to about thousands of support groups who were doing their work independently
across the country,
across the whole world, and they are doing it, and then people who are supporting them because they believe,
right?
And so it's not organized. So what we did was that, knowing also there's going to be a little bit issue of deficit of trust with regard to finance. There's a lot of people querying that. And you see, one thing about this kind of movement is that when you hear one story, check the other story, you find out that probably what this particular person is telling you is not really true. So when it comes to the issue of finance, each of those particular support group, somebody individually must have supported you, or you are to account to that particular person who has given you X amount of money. There's no single person that can tell you that we have given the whole group of obedient movement X amount of money. There's none. It's only independent pocket groups, and that those ones are supposed to account for it. Some have done, some are still doing. So when we took over, we didn't leverage, we didn't mention the issue of money. We wanted to earn the trust of the people first. It's very important. So we try to have a hybrid kind of leadership, structuring it, and at the same time making it effective, and then getting the trust of the people and getting other persons involved. Meaning that getting all the support group involved. So what we did was that we gave certificate to all the support group to work independently. Then meanwhile, the major structure of the obedient movement is up and running, though we are fine-tuning as we continue. Now today, I can tell you authoritatively, we have the National Coordinating Council, because the structure was shaped in the National Coordinating Council, Supportive Advisory Council, and then the National Assembly Advisory Council with state structure. We have all of this in place. We have all the state structure in place, except for 3 states, which we are working on now. All of those ones were in place. Then we now went ahead to do advocacy as regard to what we are trying to do to get the people to understand. We had like about 4 regional advocacy. One in Kano, one in Onitsha, the other one in Gombe, the other, the final one that we did last was in Lagos. So there's 4 geographical zones already been we've already reached those particular goals. Now we have the state coordinator. Each state coordinator will now have, each and every one of those state coordinators will have close about 10, 15, some 25, some 30, depending on the geography, some even 9. But the structure is, they are all there. Now the next level is to make sure these groupings are effective. They are reading in the database and they are mobilizing the people into a database. That, of course, is where we are at the moment. And let me say this, all of the programs that we've done, all of them were internally funded, individually by the obedient. So, meaning that the trust of accountability is already on. We did a birthday program, or not a rally, but program for Peter Obi, all over the country, did it, and everybody contributed internally by himself. So, as I'm speaking to you right now, the obedient movement has not collected. In fact, we are still working on an account, that will be sincere with you. So that means there is no single donation that comes into a particular account. That's to tell you that we are trying to be as accountable to the people.
So as of today, the movement does not have an official bank account?
No. So that in order not to say A, B, C, D have been sent into that particular account. But when we've already earned it, now we are already putting the account in place. Now you've seen that we are accountable to you with our own money, with our own contribution. So that's to tell you that we too are self-sustaining. Nobody, except now people are now saying, okay, we want to support you. We want to give you something. That means that we've already been able to connect. People now want to help. People want to support.
Voluntarily.
Nobody. Neither His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi or any other person. Everything that you see that is being done by the obedient movement is self-sustained, self-financed. You bring your car, you bring your vehicle, you bring your... And that's how democracy should be. People who find favor or believe in the system. So the people that are doing it, we are not saying we are there yet. No. We are far from it. In fact, we say we are far from it because we really want to go beyond this. Those who are feeling aggrieved or we want them, all of them in. Let's work together. This is a country we need to salvage. You can't stay by the sidewalk and thinking that probably things will come to you. It won't happen. So, but when we have a grouping like this, all of us believe in it. We don't have any problem with anybody. We just want Nigeria to be good. That's what we want. We want to make sure that when you are going to school, you can be able to take care of your school fees and all of that. You want to feed, you don't need to beg somebody to give you money. You don't need, you want to travel from point A to point B. You are sure that you get to that particular destination, just like how it happens in any good country. There are people that run to, you run to America, you run to Dubai and all of that. We want that change. That's what we just want, nothing more. So at that point, some people may of course feel aggrieved because we are trying to stop them from the criminality that they indulge in. I mean, just imagine, we are in a deep problem in a country like this now. Feeding becomes problem. Discussion becomes problem. Even to communicate on the phone is becoming problem. Now again, the government is actually trying to stiffen you, putting taxes on you. When you don't give, you don't give opportunity. That is treasonable offense against the people. And that's what we don't want.
I want us to dig into the President Peter. I mean, no doubt about it. Anybody who followed Nigerian elections in 2023 would agree, whether you like Mr. Obi or not, that he got massive support before, during, and even after the polls. But that doesn't seem to be the same. I mean, the status quo has drastically changed these last 2 years. As of today, there are people who say Peter Obi is not a is not a de facto member of the Labour Party, and we have seen one of his legs, quote unquote, in the ADC. Very recently, just a matter of 24, 48 hours ago, we also have seen some sort of quote-unquote romance between him and former President Dr. Goodluck Jonathan as well. These are all suggestive of several things, and you see speculations flying all over the place. What exactly is happening with Peter Obi's presidential ambition in light of 2027?
I've been a chairman of a political party. I've been member of the National Peace Committee. I've also been the chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council.
The IPAC?
Yes. I've also been a presidential candidate myself. In 2019, I ran. You can check the records. I have never seen an individual that is so committed to the interest of the people like the one I saw. There may be so many important persons that people have seen, but me, I see Peter Obi distinctly different. In fact, his mental IQ is beyond your imagination. The way he psychologically thinks is different. He's a person that believes in an ideology. He told me a story about his professor, Professor Mark Jacobs, if I'm not making a mistake. In one university, he mentioned it, in the UK. When he went to the university, they were teaching, of course, economic. And in the process of teaching economic, the professor was talking so much about other continents, but he never mentioned Africa. So Mr. Peter Obi accorded him, Prof, I don't understand this. I paid this X amount of money to be at this particular program, but you are mentioning other continents, but you didn't mention Africa. Then the professor said, I will answer you tomorrow. Tomorrow is okay. And that tomorrow was the day in which the professor was going to leave the university because he has served for about 35 years. So it's a big event the next day. So everybody comes around. And so, at that point, Mr. Peter Obi still raised his hand. He said, Prof, you have not spoken about Africa. And I said, okay, Mr. Peter, me and you will have lunch later. You join me for lunch. So they went for lunch. While they were at the lunch and all, Peter Obi was waiting for him to respond. The man did still don't respond. He said, don't worry, Peter, let us take a walk. While they are taking a walk, the professor now said, okay, Peter, can I see the currency of your country? So Mr. Peter Obi now brought out 100 naira, which was the highest denomination at that time.
Right.
So the man now brought out $100. They are equivalent in numbers, isn't it? But in value, they are not.
Of course.
So he now asked him, Peter, which one would you choose among the two of them? He now said, of course, I'll take the $100. I said, you see, that is the problem. You people don't have faith in your country. So if you don't have faith in your country, how can you think that the continent itself can be productive? Every time you've never heard somebody producing a car from Africa or anything, producing X amount of money because do this, you are not productive. You're not giving the world anything. Yes, they are extracting your raw materials and then using it to produce. But are you producing something? In the whole eye of the world, of course, nothing. We are just coming to extract from us. So you now say, Peter, what you need to do is go back to your country and join politics and pull people out of poverty and be productive. That was the beginning. So he looked at it as, okay, so this is what I need to do. I need to go back to my country, put in effort to change the narrative. And so the life, he's a businessman, he was enjoying his life and all, but that changes his psyche of a mind. Look, we need to come to fight for this country and change it from a consumption nation to a production nation. So it was a driving force. He has to have a motive. So in every of these motive is what is moving him now around the country. And of course, those who don't like it will always try to stop him. So here he is. He was in the PDP, and when he was in the PDP, he worked with Atiku Abubakar and all of that.
That was having left Abga.
Yeah. After he has been a governor and all. And he has proven his mettle as a governor. You cannot find him fault. He's not perfect. But what he did in Anambra is vividly clear. Is it in terms of money that he left? There were only 2 individuals in this country that left that kind of money, even close. He left 75 billion. Yar'Adua left 5. Apart from that, there's nobody. That's the later Yar'Adua in Kasina. Exactly. So you can see, practically, he started changing the narrative from the motive that he has. In his house, in the government house, you don't come here and start eating food like the way you see in other country governors. No, it's only 4 chairs. Let's be prudent. If you want to see me, want to feed me, let me go to your house. He pays the salaries of staffs, making sure that nobody was owing any kobo. Change the narrative of education, making sure that from 26 to come, number 1. Industry, roads, power supplies. These are things that affect the people directly. And this is what Peter Obi did on a continuous basis. He never stopped because he wanted to prove that he had an opportunity. So that opportunity gave him the track record that he has. Till today, they're still finding fault as regard to his probably engaged into criminal activity. None has been found against him, except those who are trying to create. So with that kind of individual, why do you shop for another? You don't need to look for, you have already seen somebody who has practicalized it, what we need to have in this country. So at that point, every movement of Peter Obi is guided by that particular story of his life. Is Mr. Peter Obi still a member, of the Labour Party? Yes, he is. Mr. Peter Obi is a member of the Labour Party. But he's obviously not on the same page with Barrister Julius Abure, and that's a problem. Of course, the party is not about Julius Abure. It's a party that belongs to Nigerian people, though orchestrated and put in place by the Nigerian Labour Congress. And so every one of us who are members, I'm a unionist. So nobody will tell me that he owns the party more than me. Through my salary, I've been able to pay my dues, and some of it we supported the party to it. So everybody that is a Labour unionist and all on the Labour Party, I'm not sure whether if you're a unionist, you are a member of the Labour Party because your money somewhere one way or the other goes to the Labour Party. It belongs to all of us. So no single person will tell you that he owns the Labour Party. No. Yeah, but people who are in position at that time help to make it what it is. So we are all, even if you have taxpayers, you are all members of the Labour Party indirectly. But the concern really, Doc, is the fact that you now have the variance between the Abure-led faction. That is where the challenge. So how do you reconcile that going into a very crucial election? That is where the courts need to do their work. Apart from the fact that the Supreme Court has made their own pronouncement, I'm not supposed to do the due diligence of ensuring that this is the person who is in charge of the party, and then we move on. But we understand that on INEC's website, it is the Julius Abure-led leadership that is recognized. Yes, because INEC is saying that they're still trying to give their final position or verdict on it. But you see, this is where the problem is. We are accusing the government of having a third hand into the problem. The APC-led government. Yes. Because they know that the Labour Party, if it's in the right place, can independently challenge the seat of power. Because we have everybody in everywhere, they are there. NELGA, Nigerian Union of Workers, TUC, Association, everybody. They try to even purify it, to make sure that they don't have their independent mind. But the people are very much conscious of what is going on within the system. And here I have to give I give a very good advisory warning to the government. Don't ever think that because you are in position of power, nothing can happen. Don't. You either naturally by vote, you are voted out because you cannot stay more than, worst still is 8 years. And if you don't do well the way we are seeing it, you cannot even spend more than 4 years. People will still vote you out. 2, don't also think that probably the people cannot rise against you when you make their life miserable. They have the right to rise against you. Constitutionally, they have. Then thirdly, don't forget about that God exists. God, he cannot continue to watch you as you continue to put his own people into total poverty and pain and pang, thinking that because you are in position of power, nobody can do it. Because the way we are going as a country, it's like, dear me, I can do anything. You can't stop me. I have the power, I have the will. It is not so, my brother. Whatever you have at the moment is just for a period, a short period of time. It's your credibility and your name. That Murtala Mohammed ruled led this country for 6 months. We still talk about it. Yar'Adua was there. How many years did we still refer to him? And so it is your goodness that will follow you. When you do bad things, it will follow you till the end. In fact, it will follow your kindred. So be mindful. It's a simple advice. Do good for the people. Any opportunity, and that goes for even every Nigerian. Because I cannot phantom it. I'll just give you an example. When dollar was 100 naira to $100, you can see the difference. But today, how much is it? It's thousands. And people are walloping in poverty on a daily basis. And Peter Obi is saying that, look, let's improve our lives. You can't stay more than 100 years on earth. This is the best way to do it. Help, support, bring in. He do this by himself. He go to do borehole, meet with Almajiri children, people who do not care about those particular people. He goes to them, support them, giving his own widow's mind. So imagine if we have thousands of Peter Obi doing the same thing. Will we be the same way we are? And it doesn't mean that he's the only person that is a billionaire. There are many of them who are billionaires, but they don't care about the people on the street. Let's even assume that Peter Obi is looking for the presidency of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So maybe that's why he's doing it. All others, if they are looking for that position, they should do the same thing.
I think at this point, we're going to take a quick break because there's a lot more we need to talk about just to help expand this conversation. When we return, we'll look at this, very recent meet between Mr. Peter Obi and Goodluck Jonathan, former president of this country, what that could be suggestive of, especially given that constitutionally, we understand that Dr. Jonathan still has 1 term, with a big if he decides to run. But then there is the question of on what platform. We'll answer those questions when we return from this break. Do stay with us. All right, let's take it up from where we left off. See, there is the thing about individuals and the kind of clouds that they bring. The opposition, especially from the side of the ADC, the coalition, as is popularly referred to, has made it very clear time and again that their ultimate goal is to unseat the APC-led government, of course, under the leadership of President Bola Tinubu. That much is clear. However, on the other side, which is on the PDP side, there is the, dual option of do we choose former President Goodluck Jonathan or former Governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi, to be our flag bearer as far as this election is concerned. We've also seen another speculation, claiming that there's a chance that the former President Goodluck Jonathan is likely going to have a running mate in the person of former Governor of Kano State, Engineer Rabiu Kwankwo. So we have all of these speculations going on. As of today, where does Peter Obi tilt more? Is it towards the PDP or the Labour Party?
He is a member of the Labour Party.
But membership does not necessarily determine on what platform he will run.
Sure. And that, of course, brings us the issue of coalition and political parties.
Right.
It's a public, in public domain, that the PDP has been making overture and attempt that Peter Obi should come back to the PDP. You heard Professor Jerry Gana said it. You've heard even Some of the publicity secretary of the PDP said it. And almost a lot of their chieftains have also made that particular. In fact, Bala Mohammed, who is the governor of Bauchi and chairman of the Governors Forum, also said they will visit him in Bauchi.
That's the PDP Governors Forum?
Yes. They all asked Mr. Peter. So, in this line, there's more than about 7 political parties. All of them are beckoning on Mr. Peter Obi to come around. That means that there may be 10 more political parties, because at the point in the process, maybe some other person may drop.
You have to prune down.
Yes. So some of these particular parties will be registered.
Right.
So those ones too will be shopping for a candidate. And we are hoping and believing that maybe over half of them will also be beckoning on Mr. Peter Obi to come around, because they want to come in with a big bang. And he has an army already on ground, which is the obedient movement. So if any one of them decide to give it a shot, they will say, oh, Mr. Peter Obi, see our platform. Just take it and run with it. Do you understand? So anything can happen within the period. But at the moment now, he's still a member of the Labour Party. That does not mean a conglomerate or a coalition of political parties may not come in the nearest future and then front him as a candidate. So he left his options open while he strongly built the movement as his strength to go into any political battle in the nearest future.
You know, that meeting between himself, Peter Obi and former President Goodluck Jonathan is very key, especially now that we're having continuous conversation around these issues. It makes you want to wonder, first of all, that party we know for a fact was behind closed doors. When politicians hold meetings behind closed doors, one thing is clear: there are sensitive matters being discussed. And then you're asking yourself, secondly, is it possible that at that meeting, one of the issues that stood out was to say, okay, well, former President Goodluck Jonathan has been there, done that, as they say, so he's not a stranger to Aso Rock. Maybe he can run as the candidate ultimately, while Peter Obi becomes the vice president, presidential candidate, which is even hardly possible because they are from the same region of the country. So give us an insight. What do you think, to the best of your knowledge, that meeting may have been about?
Okay. It was Rotimi Amici who said that while they were making effort to make sure that President Goodluck Jonathan was defeated at the poll
in 2015,
yes, the only person that stood for President Goodluck Jonathan was Peter Obi. It was the public domain. It was only Peter Obi, because he believed in Jonathan doing his best, and even he was part of the economic team at that time. So there is a very close relationship with those two. This is not the first time he's visiting Jonathan or having meetings with Jonathan. This is not the first time. But because the Jonathan name has been placed into the presidential contesting ring, now that became, this particular visit now become very publicly, exposed, as if maybe there was something yes, they are friends, they talk, they had a good working relationship. So whatever they are discussing is for the interest of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That I can be sure, I can tell you for sure. Because the way the relationship that they've had over the years has proven that. And so if they decide to meet and talk, it's not something strange. For those of us who have been close to them, who have seen them in working together. I was in the program that in Warri where both of them came to a meeting. Nobody snapped the picture or sent it to the world at that time. They were together. In fact, we are the one that went and received President Goodluck Jonathan just recently. So there have been this continuous, harmonious talking point, even before it comes to this particular level. And I don't think politics would, especially in that of the case of Mr. Peter Obi, didn't pick any grudges. When we were just coming back yesterday, he just arrived, and then former governor of Anambra, Rotimi Amici, accorded him at the airport. They were throwing banters, they are discussing on how to get Nigeria out of the wood. So you see, that particular coalition in the first beginning was just working together of individual friends who are gladiators, who are saying that, look, we cannot continue in this manner.
So can we say very categorically, as of this moment, as you and I are talking on this show, that Peter Obi has not decided on which platform he's going to run? Is that the case?
No. He is a member of the Labour Party.
Even though the Labour Party is a house divided against itself.
What makes you feel that probably in the next, we are just 2 years away from the election?
Less than 2 years.
The election is not tomorrow. Remember, in less than 6 months, that was when he joined the Labour Party and he got about 6 million votes.
Right.
So within this particular period, what makes you feel that the problem of the Labour Party would have been solved? And if it's not solved, what makes you feel that we cannot go? But at the moment, primarily, he's a member of the Labour Party.
And if Peter Obi were to, I mean, with a big if,
yes,
Peter Obi were to leave the Labour Party,
yes,
is there a guarantee that the Labour movement, I mean, the Nigerian movement, the obedient movement, should go with him altogether, or is there also going to be a crack on that front?
Diamond, silver, and bronze. If you put them together, I don't know what name we will call them. It's a stamped authority by the obedient movement that anywhere Mr. Peter Obi is going, we are going with him.
Even if he were to join one of the new political parties that INEC will likely register.
I repeat,
wherever he goes.
I repeat, silver, bronze, diamond, gold, and all. Put them together and make them into one valuable. Use it to stamp. Anywhere he's going, we go with him.
All right. Well, that sounds like a herd mentality in the way that makes a lot of sense and is pleasant. But let's come back to you because we started with you.
Yes.
There are people who believe that you are very instrumental in not just the political ambition of Peter Obi, but how you drive the movement behind this political ideology, which is the obedient movement. Talk to us about how there are people who say the ruling party, the All Progressives Congress, must have been making overtures to you, maybe come to their fold, trying to find a way to, I mean, worm their way into your heart, sort of. Talk to us about the possibility of that happening and how you have been able to deal with it so far.
Well, some will also say that we are not even trying enough. That is the dynamics of politics. I move in a most unconventional manner. Sometimes you may even see me with my t-shirt and on my jeans getting to a destination, just because I believe in the system. I believe in His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi. In fact, to tell you, I was an IPAC chairman when he was a governor. So I visited him on several occasions. So I've seen the kind of zeal and determination of what he wants to do for the Nigerian people.
As far back as that time?
Yes, and that resonated with me. In fact, when I delivered a message, a message at the Women's Center in Oka, which was not part of all the Igbo extraction there, including the former Ohanaeze president, distinguished Senator Ben Obi, everybody, I declared my support for a Southeastern president, not even knowing that Peter Obi was going to run. And this is the reason why. I'm a Kano man. Proud Kano man. That's why I am. I grew up in Indiana. I keep on mentioning in Lagos. Some even doubt my paternity because of probably I speak Yoruba, I speak Hausa, a little bit of Igbo, and all of that. So I'm a mix of all this grill. My father's name is Malan Labaran Yunusa. My mother's name is Aishatu Isa. That's her name. She's from Judawa. My father is from Kura local government. This is an established fact. He is of the fourth sibling, Bagi, Bayi, then Kura. That's his senior sister. That's her name. Then he, Labaran. And my mother said, we have Hafsat, we have Aisha, we have Safia, who is about 120 years old. She's in Gusau. So you can. I'm just giving this lineage for those who are.
Right. That's for perspective.
Yes. For you to know, I'm a proud Kano man. In fact, not knowing my future will be this, what I did was that I went to Kaduna Polytechnic. You know, Lagosians, you dressed up in a way, flying and make it look different from your contemporary. So when I came, I was scrutinized for my scholarship. I have my scholarship payments received all from Kano State, all of them. But that is just to tell you my background. And my ideological base have been shaped by Danifa Wahimi, Balada Musa, and Otto Wanko. I'm lucky to have had all those particular three different groups. We, as an activist, don't believe in money drive a particular person. We believe that ideology drives us.
Right.
I believe strongly that a Peter Obi will be a unifier. That's why I'm with him. I keep on telling him one day. I keep on telling him that, look, the moment I see you shifting from that, that is the day I will leave you, and I'll tell you, sir, I'm leaving.
Because your convention is based on ideology.
Yes. I'm probably they don't believe me, and I'm feeling so strong about it. Even as I'm talking to you right now, If I want money or moving to a political party or position, I would have done so long time ago. I don't need it.
So it's still you have come too far to go back.
No. I've gone beyond your imagination. I'm a revolutionary, but within the democratic tenets.
Right.
I have led struggles in this country. I was the field marshal of Save Nigeria Group. Go and check it. I led the Boleshoyin car, Tunde Bakare, and all of them. They were right behind me. I led it.
But I mean, we are wrapping up now, just in 1 minute or less. Why have we not seen such movement again? I mean, this was 2012, for example.
Yes.
Which people also said was against the government of Jonathan.
Exactly. Those one, no. Jonathan was a beneficiary of our struggle. Because at that time, he was somewhere in Villa. They were threatening him because they didn't want the constitution to take precedence. And we insisted that the constitution must take precedence. Edward was sick. Right. Jonathan was supposed to have been handed over. I was the lead marshal.
That was when the doctrine of necessity kicked in.
Yes, I was. It's there. It's part of my record. But you see, it's not about an individual. It's about a collective effort. So nobody should start thinking money can finish, but your integrity and name will be. And for me, it makes a meaning. I'm telling you, I've led this particular movement for complete 1 year without any single kobo. This is very important for me.
Right.
Like this kind of movement, somebody will not go into it without you having hundreds of millions of nairas to drive it. But we have done it to this particular level. Some can still query that we have not done enough. But this is the situation. But yet we are everywhere. You are a media man. Can you, in all honesty, tell me that you've not heard of the obedient movement under this particular 1 year?
Of course, it's been everywhere. But again,
so that is it. So the driving force behind it is the ideology of Mr. Peter Obi, driven by convicted Nigerians who believe it's not one man. All of us that were in it have been sacrificed.
It's a collective.
Yes, it's a collective effort. All of us. I don't want to mention them. There are very strong persons who have been working behind the scene and putting all their sacrifices in this particular. They don't eat, they leave their families and all. It is a huge movement beyond one man, even beyond Mr. Peter Obi.
All right, I think we're going to keep tabs on your schedule and see how we can bring you back in here as these developments unfold. That's what we're living into with this conversation. Everyone, I've been talking with Dr. Yunusa Tanko, is the national coordinator of the Obedient Movement. It's a very strong movement that has been behind not just the Labour Party, but Mr. Peter Obi. And again, he has said here on Global Television this morning that wherever Mr. Peter Obi goes, the movement goes with him. All right. Again, we'll say thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for having me, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
I appreciate that. That's what we'll leave it everywhere. Remember that all of the newspaper headlines we bring to you here are just as published by their respective publishers, and the views of our guests are also their opinions. On behalf of the entire team here at Global Television, domiciled in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, and of course my colleagues and my co-anchor Priscilla Obasi. We say thank you for watching, and here is wishing you the best of the weekend ahead.